Hey, before we go to break, I want to give you guys my impersonation. I want to do an impersonation for you guys before we go to break. Can I do it?
What you about to do?
I'm John Peterson, the voice of the Stars. This is my third season with the Texas Stars, the AAA affiliate of the Dallas Stars. Previously, I spent 6 seasons in the ECHL, most recently with Kalamazoo, Michigan. 15 season broadcasting hockey since 2009, 2010.
Hey, that's pretty solid.
And if y'all want to judge
start
it,
somewhere.
If you want to judge it, yeah, you could hear it from the real guy.
Well, we need to get to a break. And when we come back, I guess the surprise has been broken. John Peterson, the voice of the Texas Stars, will be joining us. We're going to talk some hockey. Yeah. We're going to talk some first place hockey.
What?
All right. Right here on the Fans View, KAZI 88.7. We're back on the Fans View, KAZI 88.7. Travis Kent, Douglas Washington, KView 24's Corey Mose, Jay Hunt on the board. And as we tease going into the break, John Peterson from the Texas Stars, the voice of the Texas Stars, joins us in studio. John, appreciate you coming in.
Thanks as always for having me, guys. It's always good being here. That impression, by the way, best anybody's ever done.
that is the best John Peterson
I didn't know how many people
there haven't been very many.
I didn't know how many people have been doing that.
In my house, it would sell. We're fans.
Yes.
We're fans, John. We love the team. And we're excited that you're here. So.
It's a great time. I tell you what, we say this about we're extremely lucky in this marketplace. A marketplace where we have the MLS, Austin FC, fantastic franchise, great to work with, great that they're here in the city. But between the Round Rock Express, the Texas Stars, and the Austin Spurs, we couldn't be more blessed for a non-major league town, right? Mm-hmm. To have 3 first-class organizations that we can go enjoy a great time, great atmosphere in great arenas and stadiums, and just enjoy a good family outing. And the Texas Stars have been a part of that now for 15 years. We're lucky to have them.
Yeah, it's amazing that it's been 15 years since the team's been in Cedar Park. Mm-hmm. And if you go a step further with the Dallas Stars, our affiliate, they've been in Texas now for 30 years.
Yeah, that's right.
Sheesh.
It's insane to think that they left Minnesota 30 years ago and they've found a home here and they've done so well through 30 years that they're alive and kicking and they're one of the top contenders at their level too.
And people still hating on Texas hockey. That's
I'm telling you,
thing.
Texas hockey is real.
I know.
And our fan base has proved it down here in the Austin area. I mean, our attendance is amazing. When I got here, I had no idea that fans would embrace minor league hockey in this market the way that they do, and I learned real quick.
So, John, I'm going to open it up to you to kind of talk about because if I don't open it up to you, all I will do is ask you about Maverick Bourque and the man crush that I have on him. There's no place for him in Dallas right now. I get that, but a fantastic young player. But talk about the franchise. Talk about what you guys have going on, and we'll get this started. Just kind of letting you freestyle it, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, well, I mean, on the ice, obviously, it's a first-place team right now, and I don't think a lot of people gave Texas that credit going into the season because we were first place last year, won the division, but we lost over half of our roster. I mean, we were cherry-picked in free agency because you have a successful year like we had last year, and there are a lot of these players that are on the border of maybe getting to the NHL or being one of the best in the AHL. Everybody wants a piece of that, and they're going to throw a little bit more money here or there, or players going to think they have a better opportunity. So we came into the season, it's really hard to repeat at this level. Mm-hmm. And we have such a young group. I think the second youngest team in the league. So for us to be in first place is very, very cool. And it's been a lot of fun to watch these guys develop quickly at this level. And the fan base knows that. The coolest thing about our team in Cedar Park is you have the diehard hockey fans that are Dallas Stars fans. They want to see the prospects play. Mm-hmm. They have season tickets because they love hockey and they show up in their jersey every single night. But then you have the family fun aspect, right, at the minor league level that you don't get at the big league level, where you have Star Wars night coming up later this month. We just had Jurassic Park night for the first time ever, and it was a huge success last weekend. We had dinosaurs come out, like people dressed as dinosaurs, massive costumes walking around. And then we've got Renaissance Fair night, which has a niche market as well. And last year we sold it
Bring on
up.
the winches.
That's what I'm saying. And last year was a sellout. So there's a lot of fun to be had by, depending on what your interests are. You don't have to even know the rules of hockey to come out and enjoy yourself and have a great time. And so this weekend we're hoping for, now shoot for the stars, but we're hoping for back-to-back sellouts. Saturday night is always popular, especially after football season ends. Saturday nights in January, February, usually we get huge crowds. There's a giveaway item usually every Saturday. And then Sunday, sometimes harder to fill that building on a Sunday evening. But Renaissance Fair night last year was a sellout. We won the game 5-0. And this year we're hoping to have just as much fun and just as much success.
Well, I was there for Teddy Bear Toss in December, which is a fantastic night of charity that the Stars put on. The players come out and pick up, and I don't know what the count. I forgot what the count was, but it was huge. The number of teddy bears that were thrown onto the ice for giveaways for charity for the Texas Stars organization.
That one's always a blast. No matter what the market is, you don't have to put up 75,000 teddy bears like they did in Hershey last week. I mean, it's impossible to live up to those standards that Hershey does every year. But every team has a teddy bear toss night because of the charity aspect. It's a lot of people really enjoy it. You bring the teddy bears, you toss them when the team scores the first goal. The players are out there helping sweep up the teddy bears and pick them up. Some of them are jumping in the pile, right? Taking pictures. The mascots out there, swimming around in the teddy bears, and then they go to a great cause. For us, it was Operation Blue Santa, which is an awesome organization to work with, and they donate them to families in need at the holidays. But that's a date that people circle on their calendars for sure.
Yeah. And you talked about the roster adjustments and having so many talented guys last year getting poached to other teams. And I just wanted to touch on something that we've been discussing all morning, is just the coaching carousel and people leaving, people going. But Neil Graham, what does that say about him to have this team still in first place despite all these new players on the roster?
I'm a firm believer that he's one of the high risers at this level, especially at his age. He's still in his 30s, and for what he's been able to do with a young core of prospects this year, to me, is more impressive than what him and his staff were able to do last year with a team that was more veteran-laden, that was very good, very talented. But these guys put so much work in behind the scenes that nobody realizes, and the preparation that goes into it for each game, because every opponent is going to throw something different at you, like it is in any sport. But what Neil Graham's been able to do in his 5 years here is incredible. And it's the second year in a row we're in first place at the predetermined deadline. So he's going to the All-Star game to coach our division's All-Stars. Awesome. Second year in a row he's gotten to do that. And I have to think, if not in Dallas, hopefully for him it's in Dallas, but I'm sure he's on teams' radars as a candidate to move up the ladder, which is kudos to him and what he's been able to accomplish so far. And I know he loves it here. Yeah. So it's an easy place to coach from a standpoint of living in this area.
Why is that?
Our players will echo it too, but it's one of those things that if you're a big golfer too in the hockey season, you can golf year round.
That's a nice little sell, huh?
It's a lot of our guys love to golf year round. The fan base is incredible. Like I said, the organization treats you really well. It's a great building, and so there's a lot of good reasons to be in Texas. No state income tax. That's a selling point. Believe it or not, it's a selling point when it comes to signing free agents and things like that. So there's he loves it here. The team's playing well. Him and his coaching staff, Travis Moore and Max Fortunis are three coaches on the bench, but then our goalie coach, Ryan Daniels, our video coach, those guys work so hard behind the scenes, and I see it at home and on the road to get our players ready. And with this young group, they've bought in quickly. They've learned the game, the pro game quickly, the speed, and so it's a testament to their ability to pick up what the coaches are laying down for them. And hopefully we can make it, continue into this playoff push, because I think it's a winnable division this year, but it's not easy. I mean, there's not a game out there that's a gimme in hockey for sure.
I mentioned Maverick Bork, and you said, "Hey, if you want to talk about Maverick Bork, stand in line. Everybody wants to talk about him." He just had a birthday. He's 22 years old, a former first-round pick of the Dallas Stars. But if you go out to a Stars game, for those listening out here, along with Bork, who are some of the young players to look for on the ice when you go out to a game?
Well, obviously, you mentioned Maverick, and just for starters, and I'll get to some of the other guys too, but Maverick is leading the entire league in points right now.
Yep.
His 4-goal game that he had right before the Christmas break has only been done one other time in our team's history, and it was 2014. It's something that you just don't see very often, and it was one of those games that I'll never forget because I don't think we had a lot of a case to win that game. It wasn't our best game from beginning to end. We were always, it felt like we were playing catch up the whole game, but we stuck in the fight. Maverick scored 1 goal to tie it. He scored another goal to tie it later on. Then we pull our goalie with a couple minutes left, and he scores his hat trick to force overtime, and then he wins it in overtime. It was insane. But he's a player. You're right. I think the sky's the limit for him, and he'll be in Dallas. It's just a matter of time.
Right.
But the business side of things with the salary cap crunch, they're healthy right now. They're
Right.
playing well in Dallas.
Exactly.
They don't have to rush his development. Logan Stankoven's another one. So Bork and Stankoven both go into the All-Star game, as is Matej Blumel, who is from the Czech Republic. It's his second year with us. Those 3 are all going to the All-Star game, and it's well-deserved. Matej played 6 games for Dallas last year, got a taste of the top level.
Yeah.
He's just a sniper. I mean, he can shoot the puck as good as anybody from anywhere on the ice, and he's really fun to watch. And Logan Stankoven, he's listed at 5'7", which is obviously undersized, but he's been hearing it his whole life. When you watch this guy play, he's not afraid of anybody. I mean, there was somebody on the team we just played in Rockford that on one shift in 30-second span went to hit Stankoven because he knows here's a little guy skating around. I'm gonna lay a big hit. 3 different times in 30 seconds, and he just bounced right off it. The third time, Logan was the one who went in to hit the bigger guy who's like 6'3".
Wow.
So just fearless, and he's so talented. He's another player that I think has a really bright future. And we've got a lot of players that are so young that I don't think we've seen their full potential yet, that are could be diamonds in the rough. Yeah, like one of our both goalies actually. Matt Murray just played in Dallas the other night against Minnesota, earned his first NHL shutout. The other goalie we have was a 6th-round pick that last year just burst onto the scene, Remy Poirier, and this is his second year, and he could very well find his way to the NHL as a 6th-rounder, which doesn't always happen in this sport. So, it's pretty fun watching some of these different players kind of carve their path at this level and work their way onto the radar.
John, if we're going to talk about Bork and we get to talk about a crush, I got a crush on Grush Nakov.
Yeah.
And I know that's not how you spell it. Mnie nравится моя семья очень. So what I'm saying is my family, we love him. We speak Russian in my house.
Okay.
And so we love him as a player. And so my question, aside from all of that and how we all love him, do you see, because of that war that started, is the flow of players from Russia starting to slow? Is it hard to get them out of Russia now? I was kind of curious about that.
That's a high level. It's a great question. It's a high level question that I think is I'm not necessarily the right guy to give you my 2 cents on it, because I don't think we've really seen the impact yet. I know teams are still drafting Russian players very high if they have the abilities to make it at the NHL level. So I don't think that it has hit from that standpoint yet. Luckily, I guess from my role, I don't have to deal with some of the big issues that when it comes to bringing somebody over to play in the NHL or the AHL from their home country. Sometimes it's easier said than done. I mean, you're booking flights, sometimes 3-4 flights to get somebody to the ultimate destination to where they can pick up and play. Artyom actually played junior hockey in Canada for a couple of years before he turned pro, so he's familiar with North America. Played in Hamilton, Ontario, on a really good team, and boy, he's been a really fun player to follow, because when I first met him last year, he joined us at the end of the season. We were already first place, won the division, going into the playoffs. He came down, they call them the Black Aces, so it's basically players that are called up from juniors that are just about ready to turn pro, and they're going to practice with the team. They'll be around the group. They'll be in the locker room, but really they're not going to be they're not going to play in the playoffs. They're going to be around. They're going to kind of learn from the rest of the group, but they won't be ready to play yet. And at the NHL, it's the same thing. So if we get knocked out, some of our better players, Maverick, Bork, Logan Stankoven, a number of others, will go up to Dallas and join their Black Aces, and they'll skate with the team, or they'll be around the team. Some of them will travel on the road games in the playoffs, but they won't play yet.
Yeah.
So Artyom came down last year, and when I had a chance to meet him, super nice. I don't think he was comfortable completely with the English language, although he's been in North America a couple years.
I'll come translate for you.
Thank you. I do need a translator. But this year he shows up at training camp, and all of a sudden it was a whole different. He had a different level of confidence. He was ready to go. His English somehow was better. I could have some conversations with him, and he's just been a fun player to follow this year because he was very raw coming in, young. Prospect, and as this season's gone along, he's gotten better and better and better, and it's been this progress that's been really cool to watch because he was a second-round pick. So Dallas, he was drafted one pick after Logan Stankoven. Again, that's a big name to be in the same ballpark. Yeah. But Artyom has done a lot of the little things that he's learned and he's picked up on, and man, it's been fun to watch.
Yeah, you mentioned something earlier about how it's been cool in your position to see all the younger guys grow and develop and then eventually go off into a different organization than the pros. And so I'm wondering, in your long-standing career of calling and being the voice, what's one guy that you're like, yeah, I remember watching him and now he's that guy?
Oh, man. Thomas Harley is the most recent name that comes to mind. I knew right away that he had the tools to be an NHL All-Star. And he's not an All-Star this year necessarily, but he's made a case for his first full season up there. Yeah. We lost him with 2 weeks left in the season last year, and I knew there was no way he was coming back to Cedar Park. It was like, man, it'd sure be nice to have Thomas Harley in the Calder Cup playoffs, but he's going to be playing big minutes in the Stanley Cup playoffs, which is a little bit bigger prize. But that was one that immediately jumped off the page. And, I spent 6 years in the ECHL, and you don't see a lot of players make it necessarily from the ECHL to the NHL, but you'll get a couple every year that have climbed the ladder. And so I don't have an example that really is on that same level of the Thomas Harley. I think the sky's the limit for guys like Bork and Stankoven. I mean, the way Dallas has drafted and developed players is right up there with the top of the league. I mean, I don't know that there's another team that I can think of on the spot that has done as good of a job in recent years in drafting, signing undrafted players that have turned out to be valuable, develop players at this level, move them up. And that's kudos to Jim Nill, the general manager. Scott White's our general manager. Those guys have an eye for talent in their scouting staffs, and we're seeing it this year with half the rosters brand new.
And the other thing I just wanted to touch on is we're on the developmental piece of how the grind is when it gets to the NHL, but there's a couple guys already there, like a Connor McDavid, like a Matthew Tkachuk. Like, what did I say about them and their greatness to just jump onto the scene and be one of the greatest on the pro level this early?
Yeah, I mean, those guys are generational talents too, and for them to be doing what they're doing in this era, for Connor McDavid, for example, to be compared to, I mean, statistically, they're comparing him to what Gretzky did when he was playing, which is a whole different era. More wide open game, more scoring. There wasn't as many players of his caliber or of that top tier to work around. Now, Gretzky's the greatest to ever do it. He's got records that'll never be broken no matter who comes in. I mean, some insane statistics, some crazy records. Yeah. But Connor McDavid and some of those players, like, it'll be fun to see what Connor Bedard does. He's injured right now, but another player that jumped right in, 18 years old. Alex Ovechkin was kind of in that same category when he came in. Sidney Crosby, they never played in the minors. They jumped right in. Those guys are generational talents. And, Dallas has a player that, again, it's hard to compare with a generational talent like Connor McDavid, but Wyatt Johnston last year was 19 years old, turned pro, made the team out of camp, never played in the minors, had a great year, was in consideration for the Rookie of the Year. Didn't win it, but, he made a case for himself. Logan Stankoven almost made Dallas last year as a 19-year-old.
Really?
And because he was not 20 years old yet and he hadn't played enough time in juniors yet, if you're playing in America or Canadian juniors, you can't play in the minor leagues unless you're 20 or older. So because he didn't make Dallas last year as a 19-year-old, he had to go back to his junior team one more year. Oh. But he was this close to making Dallas. had another great
And
camp
that's
this
not
year.
fair at all for the juniors.
No, it's
teams
not.
that he's
This
playing.
guy's
man.
coming back.
Oh my God.
Putting up 100 points. Or whatever, just insane.
Crazy.
And 2 years ago, before that camp, he was the Canadian Hockey League's Player of the Year.
Oh my God.
And that's all across the 3 junior leagues in Canada.
And what was he, 18 at the time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he had a pretty good case for himself. This year at another good camp. And that just tells you, though, how strong Dallas is at developing. I mean, they didn't have a roster spot for him this year. And, he could probably play in the NHL right now. But they don't need to rush that development. There are cases, and it's not just in Dallas, but across the league. If you have a player that's doing so well in the minors early on, and you call him up, he's ready. Plays a few games, gets a wake-up call. Maybe he's not ready yet. It can hurt your confidence. It can hurt your development. Then you go back down to the minors again, and you kind of are thinking, what did I do wrong? There's something to be said about waiting for the right time to bring somebody up so that when they come up, they stay.
Yeah.
And, I don't know if it's a good example, but I follow all sports, and I'm talking, we're talking about Round Rock Express as well, but Evan Carter getting called up to the Rangers.
Yep.
Yeah.
You knew he was ready.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
want him to stick when he gets there.
Yeah.
He's going to stick.
Yeah.
He's not going back to the minors.
No.
So, I think that's the same mentality in hockey too.
Okay.
I'm so curious, John, on why you're standing here and you're not sweating. So I'm going to hit you with the hard stuff right now.
Oh, boy.
John Peterson.
He likes drama.
Where does the best... Yeah, drama's my middle
He
name.
likes drama.
John Peterson, where's the best talent come from for hockey?
Oh, man.
That's a great question.
Ontario, British Columbia.
I like to
I
say-
talked Russia earlier.
I like to say the Twin Cities because
Oh.
I'm a Minnesota guy, born and raised, but no. Right now, when I was growing up, a big fan of the Detroit Red Wings Russian Five because there's so much skill.
Yeah.
Sergei Fedorov and Igor Larionov and all, and then with the Vancouver Canucks, Pavel Bure, and it was because we didn't have a pro team. Minnesota had left for Dallas, became the North Stars.
Yeah.
I'm growing up in the Twin Cities.
No wonder he's been glaring at you so much. I was wondering
but-
where that tension came from, Travis.
Canada would tell you otherwise, though. I mean, you look at the national success. This year was a little bit different at the World Juniors. They got knocked out in the quarterfinals. The Team USA won the gold for the 6th time in our history, which was cool. Usually it's Canada, though. When Stankoven and those guys were playing for that team, they won back-to-back golds. Sweden has a good talent base, too.
Yeah, they do.
We've got a couple of Swedes on our team that are great guys and really good hockey players.
So what you're saying is, I just want to translate for all the listeners. You said Virginia. Leesburg, Virginia.
Yeah.
Matthew Siminoff is from
There you
Virginia.
go.
I'm from Virginia.
Yeah,
you're good at hockey.
So you're selecting Virginia.
I'm
There you
repping.
go.
I'm repping
Leesburg,
Siminoff.
Virginia, the hot spot for the
Just
talent.
want
Yes.
everybody to know that's where it is. That's what you were getting at.
Exactly.
I just heard it and got you there.
Matthew Semenoff was the youngest player on our team, 19 years old before Christmas. Just turned 20.
Wow.
What a talent.
And for again, playing with some 30, 35-year-olds out there. So
Yeah. So, John, by the way, I think your Minnesota Wild now are probably happy they don't have to play the Dallas Stars anymore.
no longer my Minnesota Wild.
There you go.
They don't write my checks.
Talk about you. Talk about your journey that got you here.
You know what? I was with Kalamazoo before this in the ECHL. Great organization, great area. My wife's from Michigan. I loved it there as well. Yeah, she was excited about that final. But you know what? I got here at the perfect time for us. It was kind of a decision that we made to move up the ladder to come here, and we absolutely love it here. I could see us being here for a while. The ultimate dream is to, of course, get to the NHL someday as a broadcaster, and but while you're here, you might as well make the most of it the best you can. And this is such a great organization to work for. Got a lot of friends in the organization. I think you're set up to really hone in on your skills and not only help the team but continue to carve your path. And this team's been really supportive. But I bounced around everywhere. I was in Evansville, Indiana for a year. I was in Tulsa, Oklahoma for 3 years. I was in Kalamazoo for 2, all at the ECHL level. And, parallel moves for different reasons. But, Evansville went dark for a year, didn't come back, ended up moving to Jacksonville. So, I wanted to keep broadcasting. I went to Tulsa, spent 3 years there. Great area. That's where I met my wife, was in Tulsa, and then decided at the right time to kind of move closer to family for a little bit. And then it happened to work out great because we were in Michigan during COVID. So we were close to family, during a tough time for a lot of people. And so, and then now we're here, and it's been absolutely awesome. But went to Arizona State, so I'm a big Sun Devil guy. It's painful sometimes watching ASU football.
Are you they're the best sports broadcasting school in the nation guy, or
I've stepped off that perch a little bit.
Okay.
But it's a great journalism school.
It is.
I went to the Walter Cronkite School.
Yeah. One of my best friends went there, and he won't let me stop hearing it.
I've got some
Orangeman.
Yeah, so I've got some buddies that went to Syracuse that will tell you otherwise.
Yes, they will.
Northwestern guys,
no one gives them love.
I've had some friends go to Mizzou. Mizzou's got a good journalism school.
Yeah, they do.
There's a lot of good schools out there. I will say I think ASU's got the best one.
I like how you just slipped that in there.
John, I want to bring up some more drama.
Yeah.
It's a two-part. You ready for that?
Yep.
Get out your pen and paper.
All right.
So the first thing is, I'm guaranteeing nobody came to y'all's national championship watch party living here, and Michigan was in the national championship. Am I right? No one showed up.
Nobody. It was just the two of us.
and then lastly, being from Minnesota, I'm going to go with the stereotype here. You got game? I mean, Minnesota, what's that hockey game looking like for you?
Those who can't play broadcast.
He is right. He is right.
Wait a minute. What's that say about me?
Not always. Or if you retire and go into broadcasting, then obviously that's different. No, I played youth hockey. I played up through 6th or 7th grade. And quite honestly, I was a goalie. And the reason I quit when I did, I had a huge growth spurt. I grew a foot in 1 year. Grew from 5'3" to 6'3". The weight never came around. And the pads no longer fit me the way they're supposed to. So I'm in practice, and I'm getting pucks shot at me, and where your pads hit your knee, and then your breezers start, there's like a 4-inch gap there on my thigh that every time the coach would shoot the puck at me, I'd get hit in that same spot. And I went home one day, and I'm like, Mom, I don't know if I want to keep doing this. She's like, well, you're really tall. You want to play basketball and football? And sure, let's go. And so I played basketball the rest of the way through high school and football through high school. But I always hockey was my first love. Okay. So I quit at a fairly early age. I never was good enough to play at a high level anyway. It was more for the love of the game.
Well, I will say this, though. You may have quit hockey, but you didn't quit broadcasting. And I just wanted to go back into your career and the way that you grind it. Because I know the grind. I know the broadcast grind. You don't get paid well. If we're being honest. A lot of people think that you have these positions. Like, no, you don't get paid well. We're just doing it for the love of the game. And so what made you keep going, even making those lateral moves to think, I don't want to go into the corporate world, even though there's a lot more money out there, but it's like, what made you keep going to get to the spot that you're at right now?
The irony is, in a lot of cases, I was this close to maybe deciding to go a different direction. I started doing 3 years of high school hockey up on the Canadian border, northern Minnesota, 7 hours north of the Twin Cities. Great time, great experience, first job out of college. And after 3 years, I'm like, it's just not going to happen for me. I'm just not moving up the ladder. Maybe I move home with my family, reset, and try to figure something else out. Job opened up at the junior level, and I moved up the ladder. Did that for 2 years. After the second year, same thing. I'm not getting any pro jobs. I'm not getting an opportunity at the ECHL level, and all of a sudden, just one random day, I got an interview. It worked out. Got the Evansville job, and it just kept me going. It kept that hunger alive. Evansville, after half a season, decided they were going to go dark for a year. Couldn't get the lease in their arena figured out. And so I'm like, is this it for me? Like, I got my one chance, and now the team might not even come back. So I was kind of scrambling, and the Tulsa job came up. So there's a lot of luck. There's so much luck that comes into it, because every job that opens in this field for play-by-play broadcasting, at least, I'm telling you, you can ask my boss even, there's probably 100 to 200 job applications on their desk, from kids just out of college, from juniors, from lower level pro. It's really hard to get your foot in the door, and when you're there, you want to make sure you're doing everything you can to stay. And that Kalamazoo job was the first time that I really made a move for me. It wasn't a kind of a, hey, let's keep this afloat. It was but kind of a quality of life decision to move to Kalamazoo. And then once I was there, I'm getting ready for, our season there, and just, found out that there's an opportunity here. And, of course I was going to jump at that opportunity, because you never know when you're going to get another chance.
Yeah.
Right. These jobs don't open up all that often. So here I am. Now it's one step from the NHL.
Well, John, we certainly appreciate you in. Look, let's talk about this weekend once again real quick. What the Stars have going on?
Yeah, so we've got a game Saturday night at 7 against the Chicago Wolves, and then a game Sunday at 5 against the Wolves again. Saturday night we'll have a giveaway item for the first 1,000 fans that come to the building, which we do every Saturday night. It's going to be Texas Stars sticky note cube thing for those that need some extra, Post-it notes on their desk. But Sundays are Renaissance Fair night, and it's always, last year was a huge success. So we're going to have special concession items with turkey legs on a stick. We're going to have full steel combat, and I mean actual full steel. They're on the ice, hitting each other with.
No way.
It's crazy in full gear.
That's crazy.
Falconry coming in with live birds, like ravens and falcons, and it's unbelievable. So come early. It starts at 3 outside the arena. All the festivities, and make your way inside. The game starts at 5, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
John Peterson with the Texas Stars. John, we appreciate you coming in. Certainly, we want to have you back again
anytime.
And go Stars. I mean, let's keep this going. It's been a great run for the Stars. 15 years, and they have been the last couple of years. You can't find better entertainment in the area than going out to a Stars.
First place is the best place.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right. All right, we'll be back after this on the Fans View KAZI 88.7.